Dustin was a little embarrassed that he wasn't as good as she was in the kitchen. After the meal, Caitlin took the initiative to clean up. Dustin and Maximus went to the balcony for a chat and to enjoy the scenery. Suddenly, Dustin's phone started ringing. As soon as he answered the call, he could hear a cold but familiar voice. It was Harper calling. "Dustin, can you come to the golden balcony? I have something to tell you. You could just tell me right now while we're on the call. I'm very busy and have no time to go over where you are," Dustin replied calmly. "This is something very important. You'll regret it if you don't come over." Harper sounded serious. "I will hang up if you do not tell me anything." Dustin didn't want to continue the conversation. He had never liked her. "Hold on. Don't you want to know why Sinner Schaffer is with Harmony Healers?" Harper quickly said. "What?" Dustin narrowed his eyes. "What do you mean? Explain. I know some secrets about Sinner Schaffer. Meet me at the golden balcony before 9 tonight. I won't be waiting past 9, Harper said. "All right, I'll be there soon," Dustin replied. Harper must have an ulterior motive for asking to meet him at such a late hour. Regardless, it didn't bother him much. He was more intrigued by the secrets. Could it be that Brooke had hidden some information from him? "Maximus, come with me," Dustin said, bringing Maximus along. There were too many mysteries surrounding that incident, and Sinner was his only clue to solving it. Before Sinner woke up, he couldn't afford to miss any related information. They arrived at the golden balcony within half an hour. On the surface, the golden balcony was a club. However, it was just a front for an underground casino. Only members were allowed to enter, and no commoner could enter as they pleased. Gambling was prohibited in Oak Vale. The mastermind of this underground casino was a powerful person, running a luxurious casino in the center of Millsburg without fearing law enforcement. Harper must have informed the reception before their arrival. They were able to enter the club as soon as they introduced themselves. They followed the waiter and walked past the fancy and bustling hall before being led to a VIP lounge. The VIP lounge was very different compared to the hustle and bustle of the gambling hall. It was quiet and decorated with a classical charm. There were around a dozen gaming tables offering different games, and the guests scattered across different tables. In the VIP lounge, guests had a beautiful waitress attending exclusively to their needs as they gambled. It was the epitome of excellent customer service. Only the rich and famous could enter the VIP lounge. The simplest bet could casually start with hundreds of thousands or even millions. For the generous ones, they would even wager tens of millions and hundreds of millions. This was something a commoner could never achieve in their lifetime. Dustin immediately spotted two familiar figures seated at the central table as soon as he entered the VIP lounge. It was Cody and Harper. With Harper's status, it was obvious that she couldn't have entered the VIP lounge alone. Cody must be the person who wanted to meet him. "Hey, Dustin's here. Join us. Let's play a few rounds." Cody immediately stood up and welcomed Dustin enthusiastically. Though he wore a friendly smile, there was a hint of chilliness in his eyes. "Mr. Ostrower, what is the real purpose of our meeting?" Dustin asked frankly. "There's no need to rush. Let's play a few rounds before we get to it." Cody smiled and snapped his fingers at the waitress next to him. "Get 5 million worth of gambling chips for this gentleman and put it on my tab." "Got it." The beautiful waitress responded quickly and soon returned with a few dozen crystal chips. "Dustin, please enjoy yourself today. If you win, you can take it all. I'll foot the bill if you lose." Cody laughed and said generously, "I don't like gambling. Nor do I like beating around the bush. Please tell me the purpose of this meeting now." Dustin wasn't impressed. This place was a gambler's heaven. It was too bad that he wasn't interested at all. "You're really a straightforward person, Dustin." Cody laughed awkwardly. "I asked you to meet me today because I wanted to introduce you to someone influential in Millsburg. If he's got your back, you can practically do anything you want in this area. Is that so?" "Who might that be?" Dustin asked. "This person is the owner of the Golden Balcony, Pablo Hands," Cody introduced proudly. "Sorry, I've never heard of him," Dustin replied casually. "You don't even know who Mr. Hands is." You're such a bumpkin. Harper, who was seated on the side, frowned to show her disapproval. In Millsburg, Mr. Hands was a revered and powerful figure. He was the only one who could openly challenge the Swanson and Welsh family. Those who knew their way around must have heard of Mr. Hands. Is Mr. Hands really this amazing? Do you think he could survive a blow from my sword? Maximus said coldly. Dustin, is this your friend? Cody looked him up and down with an unfriendly gaze. Hey, you'd better keep a lid on it. The whole city belongs to Mr. Hands. You might lose your life if you aren't careful. Maximus was about to retort, but Dustin raised his hand and stopped him. I'm not interested in knowing Mr. Hands. I just want to find out about Sinner Schaffer. The door to the VIP lounge swung open suddenly as soon as he said that. A tall and strappy middle-aged man in a suit walked in with his nose in the air and a cigar between his lips. He looked as burly as a bear. His presence was very imposing even though he was just standing there. This man was the owner of the Golden Balcony and the king of Millsburg's underworld, Pablo Hands. Mr. Hands has arrived. It's your lucky day. Cody flashed him a sinister smile and looked as if something interesting was about to happen. Hello, Mr. Hands. Good evening, Mr. Hands. When Pablo walked through the door, the guests in the VIP lounge got up to greet him respectfully. As you were, please. Pablo stretched his hands out and lowered them. He then walked toward Cody and said loftily, Cody, where is the person I wanted to see? When have I ever failed you? Cody smirked secretly and gestured toward Dustin. Here's the person you're looking for. Oh. Pablo followed Cody's gesture and focused his attention on Dustin. He observed Dustin closely, and his eyes glinted with interest. You're a very impressive young man. Don't just stand there, take a seat. I want to talk to you about something. He sat on a nearby couch and took a sip of red wine from a waiter, looking confident. Dustin, this is the renowned Mr. Hands. I've brought you here to make sure you make a good impression. Don't miss out on this opportunity, Cody said with a half smile. So, you brought me here for him? Dustin asked casually. Mr. Reese, Cody called you here because I want to make a deal with you. Pablo took a long drag from his cigar and exhaled a smoke ring. It drifted lightly towards Dustin's face, dissipating about a foot away from him, vanishing into thin air. A deal? Dustin remained unfazed. Are you talking about the Dew Balm formula? Good. I appreciate talking with smart people. Pablo snapped his fingers and grinned. Now that you know what I'm looking for, let's get down to business. How much do you want? Just tell me the price, and I won't try to negotiate. Mr. Hands, I can't sell you that formula, Dustin firmly declined. Why? You think I can't afford your price? Pablo asked, his eyes narrowing. Dustin, a third of South City's economy is in Mr. Hands' control, and his wealth is beyond your imagination, Cody interjected. Yes, I'm only interested in a few things. Not many can negotiate with me. Now, it's your chance to get ahead, so take it. Pablo smiled, a hint of warning in his eyes. It's not about the price. I've already sold the Dew Balm formula, Dustin revealed. What? You sold it? Cody's eyes widened, and he was surprised. To whom? Why didn't you just tell me earlier? He had gone to great lengths to get Pablo to buy the formula. Cody had not expected Dustin to sell it to anyone else. I sold it to the Welsh family, so sorry to disappoint you. Dustin shrugged. The Welsh family? Cody asked, and his eyebrows furrowed. The Welsh family was one of the 8 families in Oakvale, and they were notorious for not giving up their possessions easily. So, how much did they pay you? I'm willing to offer double, Pablo chimed in. With his influence and powerful backers, he had no qualms about dealing with the Welsh family. This is business. Once I sell the formula, I can't take it back. If Mr. Hands wants it, you can negotiate with them, Dustin said.